My name is Randy Steffen. I'm the technical director, and that means I am responsible for building all the scenery that you see on stage and coordinating with the paints and the props department to get all of that stuff on stage as well. And this is my 13th season at Syracuse Stage.
What lives back here?
Cabling, rigging, prop shelves, you know, any number of things that we need for a particular show. And everything gets labeled. It's all, nothing is accidental. Everything has a place, and that place is carefully planned. And if, you know, those corks that you're seeing right there don't end up there every night, that'll be a problem. Because when we need those corks, we don't have time to look for them. They have to be right there. Let's go this way.
Okay.
So here we are on the stage of Whipping Man. We would call this a box set that is pretty traditional looking scenery. You know, sometimes if we did a show last season called Midsummer Night's Dream that had a curvy deck covered with grass and mirrored walls. This is what I think is a more, people think of a set. This is a set as opposed to something a little less traditional.
Now you've been involved in building these for 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
What stands out with this one? What kind of sets this one apart?
This one I would say it's the rain effect is probably the big thing that sets this one apart from most shows we do. We have the whole run of the show outside of these glass windows you see over here. There is actual water falling for the whole run of the show. And upstage of this staircase you see here, there's this wreckage, and there is water that drips down out of this wreckage as the show goes on as well. For me, raining on stage, the easy part is making it rain on stage. The hard part is not wrecking my theater when we make it rain on stage. So we had to do things like this area that we're looking at right here is underneath this wreckage, and there's water that drips out of this wreckage. So we had to plan for this floor to be watertight. So underneath this flooring that I'm standing on, which is somewhat sacrificial and will deteriorate over the course of the run, there's actually a rubber liner so that any moisture that gets through this floor is caught by the rubber liner and funneled down to, and I don't know if you have enough light to see it or not, but this little channel here. And this little channel goes into a gutter, and this little gutter, it's literally like a piece of vinyl gutter we bought from Home Depot, funnels off stage, and we can peek around the corner here and show you. Real high-tech stuff here. Comes out into a little reservoir, and that little reservoir has a pump, and that pump pumps it out of the reservoir when the reservoir fills up. And the water kind of delivery method, if we peek around the corner here, we all are pretty lighthearted in this business, so we named this the Octopus, because we have water that does some different things. When it's raining upstage, it rains here. And again, this is not high-tech stuff, you know, it's some diverter valves and some controllers. When we want the drips to turn on, we turn on this valve and the drips happen. When we want there to be a gush of water, we turn on this valve and the gush of water happens. When we want it to rain, we turn the rain on and adjust this to control how fast or how slow the rain is. And then that rain, it might be difficult to see, all falls up in this area. And there's a substantial amount of rain. It is like a downpour, and again, it might be difficult to see in the lighting we have right now, but it's just a little structure up above full of some hose that sprays water everywhere. And it was also somewhat unique in this show that we had so much destruction that we got to, like, we built some things and then tore them apart after we had built them.
And what's that, I guess, is that unique? Have you had to do that before?
It's actually the easier way to do it. If you look at this staircase as an example, the set designer sent me a picture, you know, a drawing that showed a broken staircase. But it's very difficult to build something that looks randomly broken. In fact, it's like nigh unto impossible. As try as you may to not, you end up like making too clean of cuts, or you be too consistent and it looks weird. So rather than try to build the broken staircase, he drew up a picture of a not broken staircase, and we built the not broken staircase, brought it into the theater, looked at it for a few days, and then the set designer and I grabbed the railing and pulled really hard until it snapped off, and I got a sledgehammer and broke some of the other spindles on the other one and just kind of damaged it. And then all the pieces that fell off got set around on the stage to kind of look like set dressing for the show. But some silly things we do. This wall, at intermission, we need to bring some larger pieces on. So this is actually, during the show, and then only at intermission do we open this up, and that's simply because we have some larger pieces of furniture that we can't get on and off stage very easily. The wall behind you does the same thing because we weren't sure what we're going to need to bring on and off stage. Part of the reality of our job is we have to be very flexible all the time. And then we come out into the world of where all the stuff happens. In this room there is, this is our prop shop, where they build the properties for the show. And this is where they build, by properties, this would be furniture, it would be all the picture frames, all the garbage that we saw lying around on the set was not just garbage. It was stuff that somebody took the time and energy to look at and try to figure out what it really wanted to be. There's a lot of, nothing is on accident on that stage. Everything's an intentional choice.
Behold the matzah.
And then in this room here is the scene reconstruction shop. This is we call this our scene shop. This is where we do the woodworking part of all the building we do. We have another smaller shop across the hall where we do any steel work we would have to do on a show. This show, the staircase had a little bit of steel work in it. Some of the structure of the staircase is steel, but for the most part this was a all wooden show. And this is where we build all this stuff. Everything that's ever been painted on the Syracuse stage set has come in and out of those doors. And they go into a little box truck and we drive them about 3 miles across town to where our paint shop is. They paint everything. We load it all back up and drive it all back over here. So that means like everything you see there has to break into something that'll go through there. That great big staircase with the railings on it just fits through there. But to do that we had to tip it on its side, roll it through the door, put it in the truck, and take it out to the paint shop. But there's a little bit of me that likes, you know, part of the illusion is if you don't know how I'm doing it, it looks just that much more real. I always joke with my wife and friends that I'm a terrible audience member because my job is to come and sit through the technical rehearsals and look for problems. So if I go see a play somewhere else or here, I'm a disaster. I mean, like, I sit down and I'm like, oh, I missed that thing and this is wrong and that's there because I sit here, you know, for 12 hours, 2 days in a row looking for problems. You know, oh, I could see a little light there, I could see a little of that. And if we tell you all those things, I'm giving it away.